Yeah, we need more.
But to Play's point, you know, everybody started because I don't think we were at that point, but not everybody in the groups was at that point where they really saw a significant future doing this. You know, we were still just kind of doing it to be doing it. We wasn't really making any money.
We doing it to get with the girls.
Yeah, doing it to get with girls, doing it to, you know, get props neighborhood wise, Queens wise, or what have you. And I think it got to the point where everybody else had just kind of broke out, and it was, you know, it was me and Play, and you know, we were already hanging out like every day anyway. We lived around the corner from each other, literally.
And you know what, before you go any further, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a big shout out to DJ Baby J, who used to be at the USA roller skating ring in Jackson Heights. That place was phenomenal because they were the ones that first brought around Run DMC with Sucker DJ, Sucker MC, Soul Sonic Force, all of them. He believed in us. And then, you know, went on to other people we met, Richard Ahia and Lenny Brown, and then Jelly Bean Benitez and all of that. But DJ Baby J, I got to give him a shout out. Baby Horror.
He's still alive?
Very much so. He just came out with a book.
Damn.
Okay.
He just came out with a book.
A Libro. He's Puerto Rican.
That's part of the story that I find so interesting. I don't think people understand that you guys were literally the bridge between schools, the bridge between eras. Like the guys who you're mentioning that you came up wanting to impress are like founders, like founding fathers. And then for you guys to go from that and then enter into the era with Run DMC, Salt and Pepper, like here comes Redhead King, here comes this whole other era that you end up fathering, but you were the bridge between those two schools.
Well, and I think we're old enough to remember when there wasn't hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we were one of those groups that we initially had one foot in that old R&B flavor, you know, WBLS type shit. And then yeah, part of a bridge or spanning to this new kind of era, which was, like I said, was very exciting. But I don't know that we really saw a future. I think at that time maybe we were like, I don't know, we wasn't trying to have a job.
We were happy enough to have enough money to get a cheeseburger deluxe at the diner.
Yeah, and I was still in school anyway. I was going to school. Play was always working. You know, Play working.
Where?
He had every job.
Not in the beginning.
This dude.
Not in the beginning.
For a while, he worked at the airport. We grew up right near LaGuardia Airport, right?
Not in the beginning.
So he had. Well, we can jump to that because this is a good story.
You have been skipping over a very important part of that. I wasn't legal for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, he wasn't. But you know,
what?
Look, we both have really dominant and strong fathers. His father and my father. My father was a Jamaican, you know, force of nature. You know, his father was was a really, you know, a dominant and you know, just a strong image, and you know that's who we were. You know, that's who we were ruled by.
You're doing some serious editing.
No, you want to go back and talk about it?
No, I mean we keep it at 100.
Yeah,
you know,
we have to. It's a barbershop. You got to keep it a stack.
My father, when I do my speaking engagements, I describe him as an urban pharmaceutical engineer.
You know what that means?
You know,
He was outside.
my father
Major
was
hustler.
out here. You talking about the Nicky
outside.
Bonds era, Guy Fisher, the whole nine. So my father actually made the front page of the New York Post for robbing a bank. You know what I'm saying? So you try either subconsciously or consciously to be like your father or impress your father, and especially coming up in an age of that 70s exploitation films, you know, Hell Up, Cotton Comes to Harlem and Black Caesar and all of that.
Hell Up in
So
Harlem.
seeing how my father was living with the big all-white Continental Mark IV car, dressed to the nines, the whole nine, and his associates and things of that nature, that was my hero, subliminally or consciously, and that's what I wanted to be. Then we're coming up in an era of Fat Cat, Alpo, all of them. These are my, you know, hero. We didn't have rappers to look up to. Didn't have a black president to look up to. All we saw was what was before us and seeing people survive and trying to make it. So my father was about that life. He was getting to the point where my father turned his life around and became a minister. after doing hard time and all of that stuff. But in the meantime, I got kicked out of 5 high schools. I was out there, you know, out there.
He was 5 for 5.
You know, I was out there sticking people up and all that kind of stuff.
Name the high
out
schools
there.
you got kicked out of.
Art and Design.
Yep.
You got kicked out of A&T? You got kicked out. Wow.
Hillcrest, Jamaica,
Shout out to Hillcrest.
Flushing,
Yep.
and I want to say Bryant. And I ended up barely getting my GED.
You didn't get thrown out of Newtown?
No, I wasn't in that zone to be able to go there. You know?
Yeah.
Shut 5. Just missed it.
So I mean, I'm not glorifying this. This was the path that was before me at the time. But to go a little bit further, like when I finally got introduced to him, he was refreshing because I'm seeing someone that's making an effort to be cool, but at the same time very educated. And it got to a point in my life where things started getting scary. My father was fed up because when my father did his last bid, he was on a real lengthy probation. For the grace of God that they cut his time, but he was on probation. With me, I had certain tools that weren't supposed to be in the home, that they were to do a surprise visit with him and find that there, he would go back to finish doing his time. It didn't make no difference what was in the house, who brought it in. It wasn't supposed to be around him. Right. So he took it out on me when he would find those things like, you know, you trying to get me whatever.
Whose man's is this?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that was just a very interesting section. So in order for Kid and I to just to jump real quick and we could go back. The reason why we love the movie Class Act that we did, that's my personal favorite, is because we were able to draw from what really went on our lives and our relationship and our home environment, you know, to a certain degree.
Yeah, I gotta ask this before.
Did y'all write that movie?
No, that movie was really intended for some other actors, some other high points, some real big time, but they had it,
They rewrote it
on the shelf for a long time. And when we met with Warner Brothers, who wanted to do business with us real bad, they were able to find that script and they gave us scripts to want to know what we were interested in. When we read that script, we both looked at each other like, somebody eavesdropping in on our life.
They just had to rewrite it. They just had to, you know, they just had to blacken it up. You know what I'm saying?
My question for you, Play, before we move forward for you, is what was the defining moment at that time in your life when, you know, your father's in the crib and, you know, he's on probation and he's getting his life together? What was it that happened, the straw that broke the camel's back that made you say, I'm not fucking with this no more?
The one that quickly comes to mind was the birth of my first son. You know,
how old were you at that time?
Mid-20s, around. But when it was time to get my life together, I'm seeing my father, who was subconsciously my hero. Some young men don't really want to say that about their fathers, but we all want that father. You know what I'm saying? Especially in that era. And just seeing him admitting he's wrong, seeing everything that he went through to get his life. He went back to school, 2 schools, as a matter of fact, and got his degree. And he just had to, because a lot of people, when he claimed Christ, Jesus in his life, people thought he was just claiming that to get, get a break. And it just took a while for people to really see he was really about that new life and stuff. So for me to see that, get around better people to be affiliated with, like Kid, Bronx High School of Science, Herbert H. Lehman College, all of that stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? And just things like that. I'm seeing these signs, meeting a grandmother that I never really met before who was, born again Christian, and just the signs was there. And just seeing people that I did admire getting either killed or going to prison. And I didn't see really how things were going to be any different for me.
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard.